Big thanks to Emma Smith showing us around this beautiful part of the world here in South Africa. Still enjoying our time here in big heats. And a huge one right in front of us, Elimination Round Heat 1 here at the Corona Cero Open J-Bay. Features world number 1, South Africa's J.Smith. Luke was a loss for words. He just started bawling. You're just seeing everyone cheering for him. It was a really cool thing to witness. Watching Jordy now, who's gifted priority since Luke got the wave before the heat started, throws the carve to tail release. This man creates time on one of the fastest waves on the planet. Now starting to roll. Smith lays it down, solid, compressing power carve. Taps the lip, rides out with it.
More than people would probably expect.
Well, lucky for him, that was the last turn, too.
That's true.
And this is what Jordy got to catch since he started the heat with priority, Rosie.
I love that first turn from Jordy, and another person that is just so... he's putting his turns in the exact right place, the pacing of his surfing. I mean, he rolls out of bed and he's got a bird's eye view of this wave, so he knows it so intricately.
This is going to be an interesting, like obviously Jordy bringing a much more aggressive approach and more variety to the table. Like that first turn, bringing the nose all the way back around, and that layback combination with this finish right here. But he felt like Luke had a better pace of a wave, like the wave connected all the way through, back-to-back major maneuvers.
Solid fist pump to match the crowd's energy. L.Thompson now hitting it off the top, getting a huge response from the crowd as well. South Africa celebrating surfing, and L.Thompson feeling a flex in his equipment.
But he's still going to have to paddle out, and Jordy is slowly making his way out the back.
So as we watch Luke's opening ride, Luke's still on the beach. What did you see here, Rosie?
Oh, just such a beautiful, aggressive approach. I mean, a lot of people saying that he was one of the standouts during the free surf. To see him apply that same surfing to this heat, I think a lot of speed in his surfing, a lot of flow, and not too much downtime between turns. But I wonder when the crease happened, maybe on this finishing maneuver, Jesse, you see it kind of reverb right there. And
that looked like the most critical part that he could have done, right? Like right on top of the fin boxes right there, like the typical.
Hard not to think of great wildcard stories as L.Thompson wants to put his name in the narrative to be next to guys like Sean Holmes, who was dismantling the top surfers of the tour for many years. That was a big moment in J-Bay history. At 210s against Leo years back. Up and out is L.Thompson. Luke just fishing for something to work with there. And all of a sudden the heat starts and they try doing backflips in 10-foot airs. You know, your brain can almost explode as we look at J.Smith. One of the best ever to ride this wave. Starts off with the climb, trying to find that beautiful tempo, big arc, engaging the rail. Hits it off the lip. Nice easy pace to follow from the big man, and he'll line up this nice carve back into the pocket. Drives into another classic little carving section, and thinking about a big rooftop flow, covering so much ground, beating that section. Snaps off the lip line, winds up again, and a huge response. World number 1 flexing to this local crowd.
Watch him perform like this, it's a special moment.
Against the next generation as well. And like I mentioned, a 783, it's not enough. And the pace that he carries through this wave is so smart. He starts it off kind of slower, makes sure he doesn't overcooks it. And I really like that turn right there. After he finished it, he looks over to the bottom of the wave to make sure all that noise and that whitewash from the previous wave tracking didn't bother him. So just knows how in tune and how present in that moment he is. Massive floater right here. Looked like the wave was going to finish, but somehow just makes it around. And I got to say, he's going to get something close to the best wave that we had so far today. That was Yagodora's. Like, the damage he's done on that wave was incredible.
Just has so much time, doesn't he, Rosie?
And I think with J-Bay, it's not just the maneuvers that you're doing, it's what you're doing in between those moves. And there's no kind of tic-tac-toe for him. It's all just seamless, just a well-sequenced wave, choreographed.
It's such a good point. It's that it's easy to look lost on this wave or look like you're not sure where you should be going. Jordy never looks like that. going with his 7-point ride way out front. So now L.Thompson really needs to fight back here, needing an 8-6-1. The wild card from Cape Town floats it off the top. Little check turn there for Luke. There's his version of that rooftop float. Jordy was able to do that float and then created a bonus section to finish back in the day. As we check out the last of L.Thompson, Rosie.
Yeah, I'm loving the aggression from Luke and definitely the speed from him. Just doing some beautiful surfing. I think the last floating maneuver, he flipped his board over just to have a look to see if he'd maybe buckled it again, because that was such a...
So Miguel Pupo versus Marco Mignot. Priority heat is with Jordy Smith and L.Thompson. Speeding down the line is Jordy after the 9-4-3. Attacking the whitewater targets. Filling in the gap well with a wrapping cutback. The best with speed management on this right-hand wall. Little off-balance float and trying to regather himself. Now Jordy on his last, Jesse.
Yeah, with that texture that Rosie mentioned, you can see the first wave of the set just very chattery, kind of broken, and that's what happened at Jordy's wave. He needs to keep the rails kind of flat, because if you try to dig too much, you're going to get caught, and all this lip line turns kind of the same way. He's definitely not going to better the 7-point ride that he already has, and he catches once again on her forehand. So very, very clever that he picked that out and just gave himself an attack mode in advantage from obviously the opponent that he is against, Marco Mignot, regular footer.
And L.Thompson getting the chip in, got a nice tail release right in front of Jordy, Rosie.
Yeah, this wave, you could just tell that it had better shape, more vertical sections to attack. That's our first look at it. So just getting hung up there on that last maneuver.
That's how Jordy had to get that extra heat in round 5. And then Jordy beat Fanning to take his second win of his career. Thompson trying to create an upset in the title race. Throws down his first turn, second one flying away. And now Jordy's on the next one. Smith opening up, big powerful front side hook. Nice easy float. Now stepping into another big open face section to lay down the carve. He gets caught behind on that one.
We're really indicating to good things. He's got to drop the 7 from his scoreline. He's locked in the 9, but this was looking just so beautiful, Jesse.
Yeah, that was so incredible. It felt like he was on his way to another 9, like looking at the pace of the wave and how much rail he was digging in both of the carves he had, but that wave just slipped out of his hand by a touch.
But when it came to the final, he grabbed that V12 from his dad, G-Force. Here comes L.Thompson. Nice opportunity to lay that rail down. Great style and flow through the climb, even popping the fins out the back into a nice, clean wrapping cutback. Keeping that flow in sync, going rail to rail and variety down the stretch. He will shut it down. Jordy got the 9-4-3. Great response from L.Thompson on this one.
Really good use of priority, and this is just championship tour caliber surfing. That first maneuver absolutely dismantles it and puts him in such a good position for that second maneuver. He's staying low and just anticipating the next turns. Much like Jordy, there isn't much downtime between his maneuvers, and the flow's beautiful to watch. Needs the 8.6 to take the lead. That's a really good wave.
That is a very good wave. The only thing is that you got to compare it to the 9.43 to it. I mean, he was solid. He was impeccable on that wave. I don't think he even had any mistakes as far as, you know, catching any rails or mistiming turns. He was just everything on the perfect spot to it. But was that enough?
And now back to Luke live. Nice clean snap. And just flowing down the line off the top. Chuck tail reverse. Board flips under his feet. Scary little landing when your board's starting to flip underneath you with those sharp fins. He's got a lot to be proud of, and South Africa's got a ton to be proud of. Jordy Smith, world number 1, survives a great battle with Cape Town's L.Thompson.
He power sprayed Luke that was right behind right there. We couldn't see it from the screen, but that's why he was smiling. He's like, hey, I'm still in town, buddy.
You got to spray the grommet, right?